good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are. We're back again. This is our 10th episode now. Super excited. It's a boy, Malik and Ibra again from Ting Talk. It's again one of those episodes where we can share our life experiences. You know, where we can tell stories about what we have experienced and see if maybe these experiences are unique to us or if you guys see it the same as well. Our topic for today is a comparison of, so this is now generally about life, but a comparison of our lives in the Western world, for me, Germany, for Ibrahim, Germany and the US, compared to our lives in Nigeria. It's going to be a conversation, so let's jump into it. Are you ready, Ibrahim?
I'm ready.
I'm going to start again with a question for you. What do you miss about Nigeria?
Yeah, I think there will be several things that I miss. But the first thing that I would say I do really miss is the food. Yeah. Like I miss the part where you go to the market, eat fresh killed animal. You know, the smell of freshly killed cow is different from a preserved one. Like when you
100%.
when you cook that, I can smell the difference and I can tell you this is fresh, this is not fresh. I miss that, bro. Like so like that would be the thing I miss the most when it comes to Nigeria.
The freshness of the food that you buy in the market and then cook. For me, bro, I'm with you. I totally miss the food. I just got like an Instagram message from Tosin, I think 2 days ago, and it was so Tosin is one of our friends, by the way, and it was a bukateria in Abuja where they serve amala, and I think it's Yatoyin in Abuja. It's amala and begiri and stuff like that. This is something that I know that the guys in the UK enjoy that. Probably you enjoy this in the US as well, that you can actually find a restaurant that tries to replicate that. But in Germany, we have no option. We are actually in the mindset that if that's the only reason to fly down to Nigeria, we are going to do it at some point. You know, just that having your amala pressed in plates and then the begiri and the ewedu and the soup with all those meats. And then you get another bowl of ogunfe.
Yeah.
You know, like oh my goodness, I really miss that. I think we try to an extent to get like jollof rice here, because jollof rice it's not even like only Nigerian, it's very international. Exactly. I'm happy to eat Senegalese jollof. It still feels good enough for me. I'm happy to eat Ghanaian jollof. Forget all the arguments on the internet.
Yeah, as long as
you understand. Like for me it still works.
Yeah.
But really getting that amala and begiri, pounded yam and a 4-euro in like the way we get it if we would go to a bukateria. I'm not even talking about restaurant style serving in Nigeria. That's not something that I miss. But the bukateria way, you know, those women that are sweating, that are very, very rude.
There's a popular one in Lagos. I'm not sure if it's still popular now, but it's called White House. It's at Yaba. A lot of Unilag students definitely would know this. You go there, and there's this particular lady, you almost prefer she serves you because it's part of the experience, right? Like in Twitter, you hear, like if she's not rude, I don't want it. You know, it's like, bro, like the level of the rudeness is directly proportional to how tasty,
how sweet
the food is going to be. Like insult me.
Let me be a little bit angry while I get this into me. And you know how hot it gets. Like when you go for it, the first dip into the amala, you're like, oh fucking hell. And then you have to pause and get some meat down to let it cool down, and then you go into, oh my goodness, I really miss that. Do you know, growing up, you know, I was in boarding house since I was in nursery school, like really, really young. And we had visiting days. So every other parent, I remember back then, when they visit, they will come with Mr. Biggs, right? My dad was a very different player. When it comes in, it picks us up and drives us to... There's this Amala woman at New Garage in Ibadan. Oh my goodness. Not because Mr. Biggs is not something we eat as well and all, but I think my dad just thought that that's an experience that we should get. And all
Yeah.
this Mr. Biggs and all that stuff is, it doesn't fancy this for us,
Yeah.
right? And it would just drive us straight there. Those were great experiences, and of course, I really, really, really miss that.
Yeah.
When I schooled in Ilorin as well, I would frequent Iya Yusuf. One good thing is that we actually had Iya Yusuf inside the school as well, so we could get proper like Amala Buka style inside
Yeah.
the school.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing when it comes to that amala with Begiri and the Wedu level. I mean, I don't think any city does it better than Ibadan. I mean, bro, Ibadan is the home of, bro. Like I did like my industrial training in UI. I had the best amala in my life, bro. It was crazy. I don't really fancy the Begiri, to be honest, but I feel like, yeah, I just like the Ewedu and the black amala, the amala dudu, right? So
Yeah, amala
for
dudu,
me,
so.
yeah, the Begiri.
This one that she said, Black Amala.
Yeah, I
It
feel like
reminds me of a very funny story because, so when I was in secondary school as well, I was in boarding house, and I remember I cannot tell you that this is what happened, whether the school was trying to focus and save money at our own cost, but I they had a loophole one time that was a little bit bitter, and I remember one of my juniors back then. It was, you know, he was eating one day and he just got so pissed. This boy he just stood up. It was like in GSS 3 or SS1 at the time. It was a junior student. No, I think it was in GSS 3. And I think I was in SS3, was in GSS 3, or maybe it was SS1 and GSS 3. SS3 and just SS1. This guy just stood up one day and he was just screaming like, Ikposhu left
So like the back of the yam,
the yam peel. It was like, this cannot be proper.
Yeah,
why is this
it's
so
not.
bitter?
Yeah, that's true. So Penny, I'm tired of this. So, like, give me something quality.
Yeah, that was funny. That's funny. But the quality stuff, and it's been I haven't been in Nigeria in 6 years, right?
Yeah.
And because we are talking about Amala now, I was catching up with a friend and he was telling me that he went to Nok by Alara, and just guess how much it cost for Amala Bakery and Ewedu.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there now with the inflation and everything. I'll be guessing maybe like 20,000 or 30,000 or something.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Why am I buying Amala for? I think he said it was like something like 19,000 or so per person. But why am I paying 19? I mean, guys in the comment, if you're still in Nigeria. But anyways, I know that our viewers are from all over the world. But it's basically like, what can I want to paint the picture in something that is common in Germany, almost like paying 60 euros for Käsesprezel. You know, it's traditional. You probably like it a lot. Yeah, or paying 60 euros for kebab. Like, it's good food. I actually didn't use kebab because people might think, oh, it's good food. It's quality food. Kebab is good food as well. But I mean, it's something that you can get almost fine dining style. However, to pay 60 euros for one portion.
Yeah, I mean, with Nok by Alara, you're not just buying the food, is the experience you're paying for, right? So, and unlike this other local like restaurants, it's just purely
where the experience is better.
Food. Exactly, it's just
but
the food.
But the experience of rude servers, isn't that something that we also enjoy?
Yeah, it depends on what you are craving, right? You know, if you want to probably take a lady out on a date, you know, something fancy, something not chaotic, I think Nok by Alara will do it, right? But when it comes to I'm craving Mama Said, you know, like, yeah, then you go to Mama Said for the...
That's true. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, you miss the food, and I agree with you 100%. I miss the food like crazy, too. So, something that I miss from my side is, I think I already mentioned this to you before. I really miss the communal lifestyle. So in Nigeria, the fact that it's almost impossible to be alone, like it feels to me like in Nigeria, you need to make conscious choice to be alone, as opposed to here in the, at least my experience in Germany is, it's so easy to be alone, and you have to make the conscious choice to not be alone.
Yeah.
When I say alone, I'm not even talking about relationships. To just have friends visiting you, such that your day to day is always you're always engaging with someone face to face in person, interacting with people. Bro, I remember when so living in Nigeria all my life, I was in boarding house, so it was very clear that I would always have people around me. But also when I go back home, all right, I grew up in a family of we're just a family of 6, but it never felt like this, because almost as if at every single point in time we had 4 or 5 extra people, whether family or some of the staff working at home. We always had like a bigger family. And this just meant that even though the house had enough bedrooms, enough living rooms to maybe even not see my parents for days if I don't want to, I never had my own bedroom until I finished university. Like I never had a bedroom where I wasn't sharing room with someone, even though it was a big enough house. We had 6+ bedrooms, living rooms 3+, blah blah, and still we just had so many people living with us. It was so communal. Growing up that way, going into boarding house, when I went into uni as well, my first year in university, I was going to school, and I just gave a call to one of my very good friends from secondary school. It was my senior in secondary school. Gave him a call. It was living in a this is crazy. So he lives in a 1-room apartment with his cousin, and then turns out that one other person was going to join them. We all became friends there. So now there were already 3. And then I called him in the middle of the semester that I was going to come to school and I don't have accommodation yet. Instead of him to say something like, "Oh, let me try to look around and get you something," it was just like, "All right, be coming." He didn't care. It was just like, yeah, sure, I have accommodation. I got there. We were now 4 in a 1-room apartment. It was big, to be fair. It was big, so we could have like a big bed there, and 2 people on the bed or something, or a big bed, small bed, small bed. But the fact that there were already 3, and it was just like, yeah, sure, fine. It tells you how communal we were back in Nigeria. And in Germany now, oh my goodness,
bro, like my
I miss it so much, you know. That someone just comes to your house uninvited. What the hell? Like comes in and he just throws the slippers. Like, guy, what are we eating? Like, I'm hungry. Why don't you have food in here? You know, like someone that feels like a part of you, and you know every day you can count on him coming without, or on him or her, whatever, coming without invitation. Bro, it got to the point where we did this on, like, in the area as well, and then if it's like 12 p.m, it could be that maybe you overslept, but your guy is already calling you, guy, you're not here yet. No, I had a child breakfast though, like, you know, I'm getting myself breakfast now. Why are you not here? It's 12 already. And you're like, I'm just waking up, but I'm coming for sure. That life of always having someone with you, always, I miss it so much. Really. Like, it's crazy.
I mean, it's something I also miss, actually. I was much more going in the direction of what I don't miss in Germany, because I feel like in the US there's this similarity with like lifestyle in the US and Nigeria, right? And we have a huge community of Nigerians compared to Germany, I would say, in the US. So I feel it a lot less here compared to in Germany. It's stronger in Germany. I like my first 2 months, you know about this, right? Like in Germany, I really struggled, and it's the exact experience for me also, because not until I moved to Germany was the first time that I actually had to stay by myself. I was never used to that. Like, you always share the house with someone. When I was still living with my parents, my siblings. When I moved out, like in the uni, it was like in the hostel, like with other guys. And when I even moved into my own space after school, right, I see how like my other friends in like other room and stuff. Everyone, we are just all together. Like, then I left that life to completely opposite lifestyle, and it really took a toll on my mental health, man. Like for real, it was really bad that I quite underestimated that. And I like that Nigerians are talking about that a lot now, because I feel like a lot of us just feel like, oh yeah, when we leave, it's like, yeah, but this is also something to really consider. And I think it's probably even worse in Canada, because I feel like Canada on its own is probably a very depressing country.
You know how I feel about Canada. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So then I feel like people there
For me.
feel it differently. Yeah, because it's cold, the weather and everything. It's insane, So yeah, I definitely also miss that communal life, like compared to the calendar lifestyle that we said something related to this in our previous episode, right? It's like before you even spend time with friend, you have to kind of check with each other's calendar and see if it works, and it makes hanging out and socializing with friends and family like a chore rather than just seamless into your lifestyle, right? Like this is just something that has to happen without plan, but you sort of have to plan to meet with people that matter to you or like that are important in your life. And it's
exactly.
sad.
I hate that it's not as spontaneous, Like I'm telling you, if I hear my door knock and I wasn't expecting anything, I'm thinking in my head, how? And I just had to rewire to become that way here in Germany. I remember my first apartment in Germany. It was a shared apartment. And it was so bad that my flatmates, if they would want to talk to me, they probably hear me inside the room talking or chatting or something, or maybe on a call, or maybe playing game or something. Yeah. And they want to say something to me, and I will still write it on a sticker and put it on my door, so that when I come out and then I'm going back in, I see a sticker on my door saying something. That's sad. I remember the first time I saw it. But the funny thing is that I had great flatmates. I had amazing flatmates. They were also just trying to respect boundaries because of what they are used to.
Yeah.
So the moment I saw it, and I called everyone to the kitchen, and I'm like, guys, we live together. It's fine if you don't feel like we can connect as well to call each other family, but we are at least living together. I don't see a reason why you shouldn't just knock on the door, come in and be like, what's good? And the moment I said this, the lifestyle changed completely. Like literally, people would leave food in the kitchen. Like we started sharing a lot more stuff. People would come through my room to use my balcony. Like it was just different. And I had German flatmates, because I think it's just like a human connection thing. Yeah. I just have a feeling that maybe there are also a lot more people that have the eccentricity of wanting to be a little bit alone. I think we have people that want to be alone in Nigeria as well. But it's just not the majority. And I think it's the opposite here, that we have people that want something communal, but quite a lot of people are happy being alone. And to respect the boundary, one particular way of living now trumps the other in the society. I think maybe that's the case. And really, it's one of those things that I learned very, very early here, that you need to be super, super active about getting yourself into communal living out here as well. Otherwise, it's so easy to get depressed. Yeah, I remember one very funny story of a it was one of the people studying in the program as well, and he lives I think it was from Belarus or something, and he said something very funny that it blew my mind. It was my early days in Germany as well. And he was just telling a story about how in winter things are a little bit dark and gloomy. But the way he said the story, he just said something like, oh, yeah, I remember that winter we were like 4 in the room. It was dark and gloomy. We were all depressed. And then he just continued the story. But for me, I was like, pause. We were all depressed. Why would you just gloss over that as if that's not like the biggest, For me, it felt like, what is this acceptance of loneliness and depression and gloomy? Like, what is this? And I picked that up because it happened in like my second or third month in Germany. So I picked it up and held it really tight to say, look, people are fine because they understand that this is inevitable.
This is the reality.
Yeah. and I always like to at least punch holes into things like this. So I
Yeah.
held that very closely and really thought I need to make sure that I'm looking out for these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really miss it. I miss communal living a lot. What else do you miss?
I have an interesting, controversial thing that I miss. Uh, can you guess what it is? Well, I'm not. I'm not
Okay.
going to ask you to guess because
I want to. I want to try. I want to try.
Okay.
Chaos.
Spot on, bro. Like it's maybe not the general chaos. It's just the Lagos chaos, bro. Like I miss the Lagos chaos, bro. Like it's almost like something is missing when everything is sort of calm and normal. Like you just feel like, yeah, like what's going on? What's going on? Like the moment you step out of your house, the noise, the car horns and everything, the traffic, bro, it's like everything happening everywhere at the same time, like that. Like a movie on Prime, right?
Like that movie on Prime,
Everything,
yeah.
every time, whatever at the same. Yeah, it's like
Everywhere, all at once.
all at once. There's something interesting about it that you almost miss it when it's not there because it's overstimulation of the brain, I would say. So when you don't have that, you almost get addicted to the chaos. And I mean, Lagosians would testify to this because there's this sort of toxicity that comes with living in Lagos.
Toxic relationship
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, that it's interesting that you miss it when you don't have it. Do you also miss
Yeah, I
it?
completely, bro, 100%. I completely agree with you. Like there are two things that I see. One is that overstimulation of the brain, where it feels like you are always in the middle of a movie, but an exciting movie. It's like when the southern part of the world, we have this balance of chaos and maybe in some sense, maybe we don't have the balance yet. But I think what makes our lives sweeter is that, being able to have chaos outside and being able to go inside and then it's now calm and it's your space that you can relax.
Yeah.
And if you have that balance where we come from, like Nigeria, for example, you sort of feel like you have a balanced life. But if you are in a society where it's calm inside, it's calm outside, what is even the point of saying we are outside? And I think the US might have this a little bit, like say it's like Florida
Yeah.
or New York.
Yeah.
That chaos probably adds to why those places have the appeal that they have.
Exactly.
Because when you say we're outside, it's all those things that you see, and it's like you can literally
You
just
can
go
never
outside
be bored. You
and
can
sit
never
down.
be.
And,
Yeah.
you know how it doesn't make much sense to sit down in front of your house and just cross your leg? You have to add your phone to that equation to make it make sense, or a book or something.
Yeah.
In Germany at least.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, you can sit down outside your gate if you don't live in a gated estate. And just
watch it.
watch. You don't need your phone. You don't need anything. Just sit down and watch. Yeah, and you're going to get a movie right there. And I think I miss that as well. But to be fair, it's always a balance. And I think I'll take a guess. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think if you don't have an escape from that chaos,
Yeah.
it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But I think at least my life in Nigeria was I could experience that chaos at will, right? I could experience it when I choose to.
Yeah.
The alternative is, I can just stay. I mean, I lived in a gated estate, and my house was the last house in the estate. Behind me was literally a river and then some wildlife.
Yeah.
So, like, if a pin drops, the house is not small, but if I'm on the other end and a pin drops outside, sometimes, I mean, I'm exaggerating now, of course, but you would hear it. So I had all this calm and organization and cool vibe.
Yeah.
And I can just expose myself to the right amount of chaos that I needed to stimulate my brain and pull back. And this is very interesting because I remember one of my friends, Toby, is from Lagos. You know, I'm from Ibadan. There's a little bit of chaos in Ibadan. It's not the same. It's from Lagos. And
Ibadan
we
has the
studied
space,
together in
right?
Ilorin.
There's chaos in Ibadan, but Ibadan is so big when it comes like landmass wise that you don't really feel it.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot going on.
Because Lagos, it's like choke.
Yeah.
When he comes back from Lagos, you know, he'll be like, Malik, we have to get out of this place. We have to leave this. Like, it just feels like you get into, you leave Lagos and you get into somewhere like Ilorin and you're like, how I want to take ginger here?
Be depressed. Yeah.
Like, even if you're not depressed, you're just like, this is too comfortable. Like,
It's too easy.
how am I going to get the drive that I need to survive as a young man?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's something as well. And this is why they are always like, if you can survive in Lagos, bring any city in the world.
I think
You're
Lagos
good to go.
also really helped shape me to really push for a lot in life, because I didn't grow up in Lagos, right? I'm from Abeokuta, so but then it was always at the back of my head like, yo, the moment I'm done with school and all, I'm going to Lagos. And it does help, because then you see people doing things at a different level that you would never be able to comprehend if you don't go to that sort of chaos or the level that everyone was operating. Then I think it's also advantageous in that regard.
Even for me, my experience was crazy because, you know, when I left Ilorin, I went back to Ibadan, and then afterwards I moved to Abuja. Now, Abuja is a different type of city completely, right? It has some of its chaotic parts, but it's a different type of city. It's quite calm, it's quite mellow. And because at the time, I was doing, I was privately employed, I was self-employed. I had my business with some other partners. We would wake up at any time. Traffic wasn't the craziest thing to worry about. We would just live our life, and it was mellow. Things were going well. You would progress. There was so much around us to motivate us, but you wouldn't test the limit of what you are capable of. After a little bit over a year, almost 2 years, I moved from Abuja and I moved to Lagos. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. It's like game
Life
on.
started.
Yeah, game on. Yeah.
Bro, my first month in Lagos, I was like a zombie. So I moved to Lagos because I got a job with the bank at the time. All right, and you know, first day of work, I was late. This was because I did not understand what Lagos traffic meant. Every single time I had been in Lagos, I had never been in public transport. I've always been driven around.
For anyone who doesn't really know Lagos, let me put this traffic situation into perspective, because I had it at the back of my mind. In Lagos, a 10 minutes drive on a normal day without traffic can take you 3 hours drive. Like,
Correct.
the same distance, travel it at night. I experimented with this actually. Middle of night,
Yep.
like travel the distance, 10 minutes. During the day, especially the peak period or like the rush hour,
3 hours.
3 hours, I bet you.
Yeah, it's mental, and that was exactly the experience. But I didn't picture this. We were supposed to resume at 8. We had like this big welcome event. The CEO was going to be there. I think the group CEO was going to be there. It's big, right? And I thought, well, if it's starting at 8 and I leave the house at 6:30, I'm still good. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I was late, bro. Like, but thankfully, because typical Nigerian way, I was late, but I wasn't late because it started, I think, around 9 instead of 8. But Lord of Mercy, I think it even started later than 9. But Lord of Mercy, I was like, this is how my life would be if I continue to do that. And I know that this is a job. I'm not self-employed anymore. I actually owe my employer being at work at the stipulated time. How am I going to deal with this? Now I started waking up at 3 o'clock, 3:30 at night, so that I'm out of the house by 4:30. But when I'm out of the house by 4:30, I'm already at the office in 20 minutes. And then I'll continue sleeping there. That was my first 1 to 2 months in Lagos. I was like a zombie because when I'm going back home as well, it's rush. It's not exactly rush hour because I was staying in the office until like 8 or 9, but there's still a lot of traffic, and this takes me like
sometimes I leave the office at 8 or 9. I get home at 12 midnight. And then I'll quickly eat. And then I was sleeping like 3 hours a day. I was like a zombie. I was living on coffee. I lost so much weight.
You can't be fat in Lagos, bro.
Bro. Bro. But I tested that limit, and I at least recognized that I'm capable of doing that if that is what is needed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if this is what is needed, I can do it. I've done it for like 2 months before I then moved a lot closer to work. And then when I moved to the island, when I got posted to the island for work, I also moved to VI. And this is one thing that I was saying about that experience of choosing when to experience the chaos. I've always been privileged such that when I moved to the island, for example, I could get a place, like I had somewhere to stay on the island. So I didn't have to do this crossing every day. That would have made my life a living hell. But I can imagine if you do that every day and you have no choice on that, like there's no opportunity for you to change that.
Yeah, that would be
soon,
quite challenging.
You'll be going mad, yeah. And that, I think that's what I needed to put that out, that if you enjoyed the chaos, because the moment you were experiencing it, it was almost by choice.
Yeah.
Not exactly all the time, but most of the time it was by choice.
Yeah.
And that's something that I miss it
that
from
makes
that
a
perspective.
difference, actually.
But
It makes a huge difference.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I also feel the pain of people that it's absolutely not by
Imagine
choice,
having
it's by
to live in
necessity.
the-
Then it's complete madness.
Yeah. In the middle
Yeah,
of like
I'd say.
Agege or something, like, you know, maybe probably you are also in your house and you are still hearing like horn sound and car sound, like that would be, I mean, there are residential sites, I mean, of Agege and all, but like if you have to live in the middle or in the center of the commercial side, you would really be angry every time. And a lot of these bus commercial drivers, that's why they are always mad. They are always pissed, because it's in their head is just this like overwhelming stimulation in the brain, and you have to be a little mad in Lagos, to be honest.
I realized that I might need to drive, and I made the very conscious decision that I was just not going to drive in Lagos. Bro, you know, if you're on the mainland, especially the mainland, where these yellow bus drivers, the way they move into, I'm like, these guys don't care about their car.
Yeah.
They don't care. So how am I going to deal with that? Now, I don't miss that part for sure, because it also meant that I was in taxis all the time, and it just cost money that didn't make sense to spend. But anyways, yeah. What else do I miss about Nigeria? I think from my side, I think if you had given me the opportunity to say top 3, it would have been the communal living, food, and maybe a little bit of this chaotic vibe. I do like the way I partied in Nigeria. Let me put it this way. So back in Nigeria, yeah, that's something maybe I would say that I missed, because I think it's also tied to the communal lifestyle. So back in Nigeria, I wasn't really the club type, right? So, and even if we went to a club, it was almost like a squad. We always had like a convoy, and it just felt different. However, we mainly did house parties.
Yeah.
And that's like a completely different story. Yeah. I've tried a few times to throw house parties here in Germany. Didn't play out the right way. Apart from those times when we, could link up back in Stuttgart, when we were still living in Stuttgart, Like, it was so easy to put together a house party in Nigeria because, this life that we live, and our parties, apart from house parties as well, wedding parties, all these things, I missed it because, bro, every weekend back then, there was a friend of a friend that knew a wedding that we could all go to. Yeah. And the guests did not mind. Yeah. My friend gets invited to a wedding, and my friend that got invited by someone that wasn't even the host, even if I have someone else that would like to join, I've been invited by the person that was invited by the person that was invited, and I'm still inviting people.
They're like, thanks for coming. We really appreciate it. We do it. Like over here, you have to kind of ask if you can bring a +1. That's never part of the question in Nigeria. Like, you can,
and it's only a +1 case.
Exactly. So when you're like throwing a party, people are gonna come with people that that you didn't sort of plan for, so you account for that also while planning like the party. Yeah, and for me it's even more than that. It's also the part where you dress up for stuff like I've had all my traditional wears like my agbada, my native, my lace, my ankara. I've never really had any reason to wear them since I left Nigeria. And it's quite sad because, it's different here actually in the US. I've been able to use it a while, but in Germany, I never touched them. Like there isn't any occasion to, and I miss that, like sort of.
I only touch them when I'm trying to make a statement,
Yeah.
There was a company event, I think it was in spring or summer. I was in Abuja. Some of these are our formal, traditional ones, so without all the design. So it's really not meant for partying. It's formal, but it's traditional way. And I wore it to, by the way, guys, so I work, the company that I work in, were not a lot of black people there. So when I wore it in, I got comments like, "Oh, you look like a prince."
They call it a suit, actually. I love your suit. When I wear my like traditional wears,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, this is a nice suit." I'm like, "It's not a suit. This is like."
And I only do it in moments where I feel like I want to make a statement.
Me too, actually.
But you're right, dressing up like that definitely. I miss that. Bro, it was so crazy that my mom liked to throw parties, and we would throw parties that you didn't have to be invited. You just need to walk by, and literally they see you, they recognize you from the area. Come in.
It's called Mugbomo,
just
actually.
come in.
Like a head.
Yeah, exactly. Mugbomo branch.
Yeah, I heard that.
Exactly. And I remember there was a day we went to play football at the football field, and someone was like, "Hey, Shepatili, hey," like. This guy was literally asking, "Are you guys not throwing any part?" Like it's been a while, and I'm like, it's nice to get all that from some, like just in the community. People just know that they can come celebrate as well with you.
Yeah.
Of course within reasonable limits, but it was always fun to experience that, to be honest.
Yeah.
My dad just did one birthday party now. He's never celebrated his birthday. And it was like, he wants to do this one. It's like you're getting older, you're thinking you want to appreciate more every little one thing. And my dad is like, I'll do my first ever birthday party. And then I thought it was going to be 50 people or 100 people or whatever. And I'm getting told that it's like almost 500 people, over 500 people.
That's insane.
Birthday party.
Yeah.
Interestingly, the week before that, I just been to a friend's wedding. I don't think we were up to 50.
Yeah. But I find organizing
it's
it quite stressful. I haven't really thrown a lot of parties. Like the traditional, like the typical Nigerian party. It's quite stressful. For the same exact reason where you don't know how many people are coming, because I'm overthinking it. Like, what if more people show up? What if less people show up? What if
it's easy? It's easy. Just double everything. So basically, what you would do is you're throwing a party. You think there might be 500 people. Just think in your head it could be 700, because what's the probability that you have 200 more? And this is why if you do it right, there will always be enough food for people to still pack home.
Usually that's what happens.
Put it in a cooler and stuff. And you have to also be very flexible with the drinks, such that if you're feeling like Ibrahim, please quickly get in the car and drive to that supermarket, get us more drinks. There's that flexibility required, that on the day of the party too, you need some cash to be ready to spontaneously get more drinks, and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
There are people that enjoy doing it. I've never been the one to host a party that could potentially blow up like that. But my mom, she's a fucking expert. She loves doing it. And
it's a skill actually. That's what I wanted to say. Like, I don't have that skill. That's why we have a lot of successful, rich and wealthy like business owners when it comes to party planners and event planners in Nigeria. It's a massive industry, I would say.
It is.
Yeah. Okay, I have another controversial thing that I miss in Nigeria. I know a lot of people are going to come for me, are going to probably, curse me out in the comment section, but I don't care. I actually
I'm curious now. I don't think I can guess what this one is. I don't think I can guess what this one is because I don't know. I don't know what it is.
are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Give it to me.
I miss
Pause.
the part.
I said, give it to me, and I was like, no, DD.
Yeah. No. I'm not even. Yeah. I miss the power outages. As insane as I know.
I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
This is
No,
my
I'm kidding,
experience.
I'm kidding,
I'm not
I'm
saying
kidding.
it should be.
No, but I'm kidding. I think I might understand what you're
Yeah,
saying. But go on.
It's not because I want Nigeria not to have like this 24 hours electricity to ride.
It's actually getting there. It's getting there.
What I miss is the fact that, from my experience, I feel like power outages have this strong correlation, I believe, towards a healthier mental health. And what I mean by that is, I look back and I think about how I was sort of able to manage the chaos of living in Lagos, having to do this, that, a lot of things going on at the same time, and not necessarily having burnout and all like that I've experienced since I moved out. And I feel like that bit of power outages happening as sort of grounding moments, reflection moments, like reminiscing and planning moment. Like, for example, when you know for a fact that, oh, we won't be having light for so period, or this is when we are having light, you can then organize better that, oh, when light comes by 4 p.m., I have to iron, I have to do this. And before then, you are really thinking, planning, sometimes sitting by yourself, maybe your phone battery went out and all. So it forces you to really desensitize you from all these technologies that we have. Whereas like over here, it's like a constant stimulation every time, every hour of the day. And before you know it, they are taking away like a lot of your time. So for me, I look back at that and I felt like those are moments where you can really, really reflect, and you take it for granted. But if you would have 24 hours light, you are constantly on the go. You don't pause. You don't have this time out from all this technology and all. And I feel like, yeah, it really, sort of helped me in that perspective. Whereas now you can just go all out 24 hours, being on your computer, being on your phone, and from that perspective, I feel like I miss that. Yeah, I definitely miss that.
Yeah, so I definitely understand you, even though I wouldn't say that I missed it. But I think you are 100% correct that this power outages creates the window that allows you to connect with yourself and also connect to the world in its natural form. But I think that's also something that maybe has changed a bit, because now everyone has power banks and stuff like that. And if the power outage is not long enough, people just go from TV to phone or from laptop to phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the advantage in that sense, to me, I see, yeah, I 100% understand what you mean. I'm trying to think if, for me, the reason I don't miss it is because I actually just naturally get tired of the old thing, that I have all the things, that gadgets that I could use to stimulate or engage myself with electricity, and I just get tired naturally and try to pause out of it. Maybe what I'm trying to say is there are two ways to react to it. There's the reaction of, you need to create the scenario, the situation for me to have an opportunity to pause. And there's the situation of, oh, I've done everything now. It's now no longer interesting to me that we have electricity. You see, as kids, they would buy provisions at home, and we would finish a big tin of milk and Bonvita or Milo. We'll finish this. If they give us full access to it, we'll finish it in a day. And then over time, they took a different strategy to say, we will give you access to it, but it will just be too much for you, right? That it stops fascinating you to the point that you are finishing it on the same day. So at the beginning of the full-blown access, like now it's not pieces, it's cartons and cartons at home. We were churning through it like bam, 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 bam. And then a few months down the line, they will say, you want Bonvita? And you'll be like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
You want Miller? No, I'm good. And that's how I see it.
That's the grounding beat that I mean also. And it's also being, sorry to cut you short, it's also being grateful or having gratitude. There's something that makes you appreciate every time it comes back on. I feel like the feeling of when you get the power back on, there's almost not a feeling in Nigeria that I feel like can level that. The up NEPA feeling. It makes you appreciate
I know what you're talking about.
the tiniest of things. You know, it's like that gratitude, like, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely something. That's definitely something.
People call for me like enemy of progress. Oh, yeah.
That's definitely something. So I think from my own side, that's all that I can think of that I miss about life in Nigeria over life here in the West. But what do you have more?
Yeah, I have two things
Go for
that
it.
I feel like they are also quite important. They're also kind of similar to what we've said. The first thing would be the weather. I feel like the weather is, you can't express how important that is, or the shock for you if you leave Nigeria to the West. You then start to appreciate, from before I left Nigeria, the old summer vibe energy. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I see like artists talking about, oh, my summer tour. I see people crazy about, it's about to be summer. And I'm like, why are they excited about the sun?
My first day in Germany, I arrived in Germany on the 1st of August. And when I got to the campus, everyone was like in bikinis just outside. This is not a beach, by the way. They're just laying outside in a garden. And I was thinking, it's the sun. I'm trying to run away from this sun. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? It took me 2 summers to start getting that feeling. I remember I told you about the story about the summer where the year that I broke my ankle, and I came out the first time and it was already spring. Jeez. I felt like everything. I was like, wow. Yeah. I missed that too for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe in the sense that I would prefer to have sunny weather all year round, like we get in Nigeria. But maybe the reason I didn't put it on my own list is because it's like the NEPA thing that you talked about. That taking it away and bringing it back makes me appreciate it more.
Okay,
Yeah, the sunny weather feels different now. You feel like this is your 3 months of the year. Like you have to be out there and do a lot of crazy stuff. Maybe that's why I didn't have it on the list, because for sure the weather is oof.
I mean, but if I'm to pick, I feel like I'm definitely going to pick like all year round sun. But it's very true that I didn't appreciate it. And I didn't even know what it meant until now that I'm like, bro, I can smell summer. If you hibernate me in a cold room or something, just freeze me for like months and just randomly take me out of that. Without seeing that, I can breathe my first couple of breaths and I smell like this is summer. You know that smell that it's like everything is blooming, everything feels different. You just know.
I know.
But in Nigeria, it's like every day you don't even know what it's like to not have that. So it's just like, we have some. Yeah. I have one final one. It's similar to what we've said also before. And it is the street food in Nigeria. This is different from the amala and the everything.
Oh,
like, bro,
yeah. I lumped it all up.
I miss the street, bro. The fried yam,
oh,
the
my
pop-off,
goodness.
the balls,
Suya.
bro.
fried fish,
fish.
roasted corn, roasted fish,
Bro.
suya, like proper suya. That's definitely, bro. Now that you say this is one. But I lumped it all into food. But I think we focus too much on Amala.
Yeah.
You know how in Nigeria, when you say I'm going to a bar, it's never just drinks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go to a bar in Nigeria, they have pepper soup,
Bro.
they have catfish
Bro.
pepper soup, they have goat
I
meat,
miss
they have asun. That smell, that smoky smell with the drinks going on, the smell of all the beer.
You have different type
And
of
here
pepper
it's like
soup.
you go to a
The catfish pepper soup, the cowtail
Bro.
pepper soup, the goat meat pepper soup, bro.
and then the goat meat asun itself. I miss that a lot. I hate the idea of we go to a bar
We are
and maybe
just
the best
drinking.
you get are nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They give you some.
You made
yeah.
a point actually on one of our calls today that the Westerners, like in the West, people drink differently. Maybe this is the thing.
Yeah.
Drinking with food plus drinking for drinking's sake.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Different thing.
Yeah.
Maybe this is it.
Yeah, it kind of balances it out. You don't really feel that alcohol like intoxicating you as much as when it's like drinking on an empty stomach. If you drink on an empty stomach, you feel it more than when you just have finish having a meal, then drinking after that. Yeah. Bro, I miss
that's
the
definitely-
street food, man. Yeah. Do you like pop or buns? Which one do you prefer?
I always preferred puff puff over buns. Yeah, I'm a puff puff guy. Yeah, puff guy over buns.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting question. How about you?
I'm a pop guy too. Puff is just on a different level, man.
It's different. It's different.
You get
know those
tired
guys
of
that
buns
normally
easily.
put it on their head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can even hurt your gum, like if you eat it wrongly, because it can be too hard outside in some cases. What about, are you an asun guy or a pepper soup guy? This is tough because asun is like pepper
soup.
pomo.
I'm a pepper soup guy.
Yeah, pepper soup guy. Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
When I was in uni, I was full blown
Asun.
asun and peppered pomo. In Ilorin they had this. It's not asun, but they had asun there as well. But they have just peppered pomo. And nothing is happening. It's just onions
that's true.
and pomo lata.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
in Ilorin, I don't know if this place still, but it's the museum in Ilorin. You can go there and get. Oh my goodness! And then after uni,
Yeah.
I just became a pepper soup guy, man. I mean, pepper soup. And there was this pepper soup spot that my guy used to take us to in Bagada Phase 2. Lord of mercy.
Fish or meat pepper
Prices are
soup? Which one do you prefer?
catfish, proper big
swear,
catfish.
bro.
I want my catfish pepper soup.
Let the
Bro,
head look like
but
this, bro. Like...
Oh my goodness.
I don't know.
And the funny thing is that the prices are so much different from one city to the other. Yeah. Bro, we used to get 500 naira. Okay, so we left Nigeria 2018, right? Yeah. 17, 18, 16. We used to get 500 naira, 1,000 naira pepper soup in Ibadan. Bro, I got to Lagos, 4,000.
Yeah, that's what, before I left, 4,000, 3,000.
4,000 naira. What the hell?
I mean, I enjoyed them actually. I felt like, it was.
I mean, they were bigger, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like you got your money's worth, but still.
There's one at Ogudu GRA, bro. Like, they used to have this. It's like a street food. It's a proper restaurant.
Is that not the one where they have the shawarma in front of it as well? I don't know if it's lovely. There's this crazy shawarma.
That's different. Yeah, that's for shawarma. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not sure they still have that. Goodness. But yeah, Lovely is like at the other side of Ogudu, almost getting to Ojota. Like, it's a proper restaurant. But before you get into the restaurant, right, the entrance is a street food side. You have like fried fish. You know this saku?
I know it.
A lot of spice.
The smoked one.
The smoked fish.
Oh yeah, that's. I know that one with the pepper spice on top of it. Oh yeah, I think I know this place. Because you can now get fried yam or fried potato.
Then with that, that's fish. Lovely. Yeah, bro, that's
I know it. Yeah, it's fire.
What's your favorite Nigerian street food? Just to kind of sum it up.
My favorite Nigerian street food is honestly suya. Suya does it for me. Yeah, suya. I love meat a lot. and suya is just, yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. I asked the question, but I don't also have an answer. Because I'm like,
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. There's so much. I feel like I get tired of yam and potato and even the fish stuff. But suya, it's almost as if they never give you enough. I would, bro, in Nigeria, I've bought suya 10,000 naira, 15,000 naira, and I'm still like locked in, which for a lot of food, it's unusual to have so much and you're still like locked in. But it's meat. When you eat meat, you don't
suya
feel like
is-
you're poisoning
yeah,
yourself.
Suya is on
You
another
just feel
level.
like you are giving yourself something. Yeah.
I love suya. I love suya.
Suya. And I stopped buying all this suya on the stick that is like this, even though they have different tastes to like the meat
Exactly.
one. Oh, but the meat,
The meat one,
oh my
that's what I wanted to, with the one on the stick that are flat, you can really get that. I got tired of that because they are kind of
Tired.
dry.
Yeah.
The meat one, they are softer and succulent, so juicy.
yeah,
So
it's like
yeah.
sticky.
That's yeah. With the onions
that's
and
the
the
word.
pepper, bro. I could eat like 20 onions when it comes to suya.
Oh yeah, because yeah, and the suya spice on the onions, it just makes it work. Cucumber as well on top of it.
Is shawarma is street food though? It
yeah.
should be a street food, right? Because I love shawarma.
Shawarma is on the street in Nigeria.
Nigeria, it's
Shawarma is on the street, but I always compare it to pizza, and 100,000%, I'm always a shawarma guy.
bro.
In Nigeria, I probably ate pizza maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
Because it's all for me. It was always a decision of, do you want pizza or shawarma? And I'm like, P what? Get the fuck.
Pizza is boring.
Well, I mean, I've
when
had
it's compared to shawarma, bro. Shawarma is
compared to shawarma. Yeah, and the shawarma in Nigeria is also different from the way we get it in Germany. Even though shawarma is not a Nigerian food, like the way we make it is just different. Like the fusion, the modification it has gone through for Nigerians, it's just.
I think there's a
No
little
more-
bit
more
of
used to do that.
suya in shawarma. It's like there's this meat that is also smoked, sort of like
Because they and the way they do it, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. So now that we have talked about what we really like and what we have missed about Nigeria, I think this is also things that we prefer in Nigeria over our life in the West so far. What do you prefer here over life in Nigeria?
I really appreciate, and this is just Germany, this is not the West as a whole. I appreciate the timeliness of Germans. I think it's something that I took with me, and I feel like it does help dealing with each other as a society, right? When we can all be timely. And I do not appreciate, especially outside, maybe in Nigeria, I would not really find it offensive. People trying to talk to me and be like, oh yeah, Nigerian time or whatever. Nah, I would try to be as punctual to anything, formal or informal, just so I just make sure I'm not stereotyped as, oh yeah, he's from Nigeria, he's probably gonna be late, or is Latin America is probably gonna be late or whatever. I mean, Daniel used to thrive in that. I didn't find that cool because he's from Mexico, right? And they also kind of have that stereotype like, oh yeah, they are always late. When they say 7
always
p.m.,
late.
you go there 10 p.m. or whatever. But nah, I don't want to be a part of that. So I really do appreciate that living in Germany really taught me to be punctual. Like Germans will get, it's like there's this 15 minutes early rule even in Germany. They will be there almost 15 minutes early, especially when it's official, like when it's, like class or like presentation or all this, like you don't want to be late. So, and I took that with me and I feel like, yeah, this works because I don't like being the one that is waiting on someone. So I like to also not do that to anyone. Yeah.
I 100% agree with you that for me, it pisses me off more than I can remember that it pissed me off in Nigeria. Like if I get held up now, I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? I'm so used to just being punctual now that I don't even recognize a different world anymore. And I can already see how this will annoy me as hell when I go back to Nigeria. I can already see how this will bust my head when I go back to Nigeria. Like this timeliness of a thing, it would Oh my goodness. I know, and I'm preparing to be a little bit more understanding that I'm coming from some a different space as well, because I agree with you. I definitely now enjoy it's four.
Yeah.
I really, really
It
enjoy it.
works as a society. If we operate at that level, it
Works.
works.
Yeah. My one thing that I appreciate about Germany, I don't know if it's the same for the US, but something that I appreciate about Germany, that as a society, that it's controversial, because I would say the reason this is controversial is because sometimes you think, well, it it still exists, but it's now only for a limited class of people. There's this equality sort of situation that you get in Germany, that your money doesn't do a lot for you.
I know what you mean.
And in Nigeria, of course, if you have money, they open doors and they open gates for you. They do, yes, sir. You go past everyone else. You know, like when you have money, people treat you
Yeah.
differently in Nigeria.
Nigeria is the
In
younger
Germany,
sibling
this is
to US when it comes to that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And this is controversial, especially for me, where I have seen it being an advantage to me or my family or my parent or something. And I'm now in a country where it's not an advantage. It's just everyone, live their life. No one cares about how much money you have or whatever. In most spaces, let me put it that way, I really, really like that. Yeah, because I feel like it gives everyone an opportunity to experience things without feeling one type of way. Like you get the same experience as the other person. Now I say it's controversial because I don't think it doesn't exist in Germany. It's just that it's for a much smaller group of people. So in Nigeria, even at middle class already, someone is already treating you differently. Even within upper lower class, you're already getting treated differently by, like, basically in Nigeria, it's always a point of everyone below you will just treat you differently because you're on that level. And in Germany, it seems like this is really only set aside for the ultra rich, right? For the proper
The
wealthy
upper class.
upper class, exactly. So billionaires and generational wealth and all those things. But in Germany, if you just well to do and all that stuff, everyone is so casual and regular about things that people just focus on, this is my space, this is what I have control over. I don't care about the money or whatever. And the reason that's the case is because no one is begging from each other.
Yeah.
I would hope that so no one is expecting favor for getting this preferential treatment. So if you get treated differently, it's only because they feel like you are someone that maybe truly deserves that different treatment, or for that moment or for that situation. And I really, as I said before, I really like that, at least for most of the situations, in most cases, everyone, there's a little bit of an equality or equal feeling and equal treatment.
100%. Yeah, I feel like from my experience so far, Germany have the most balanced gap when it comes to the middle class, upper class relationship. Bro, it's wild in the US. I think it's even much worse than in Nigeria, because the oppression is real, the gap is so clear, and money changes how people behave towards you. They gauge you on how to interact with you, whether you're rich or broke or average or whatever. But in Germany, it's so not that conscious as a whole, that you could be in a train with a very well-to-do guy. Like, it's also the transportation thing. Like here, there's the level of classism that comes with using, and I guess that's one of my reasoning for why the US doesn't have a functioning public transportation system, because people really have to show their class. If you are sitting in people in the train in Germany or most part of Europe, it's not because you all are broke. In the US, that's what it means. If you use a train or a bus or whatever, you are broke.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, the difference.
I mean, except in New York, I guess.
Yes, except in like probably that would be the only city. Yeah, I think New York is the only city that has that.
I think it's probably New
Yeah,
York for me.
yeah. I would argue that even in New York, you would mostly not want to do it, except for meeting the time
it's
when
the
it comes
traffic.
to like, yeah, exactly, the traffic,
Traffic situation.
But yeah, I think you would rather plan around the time than do it. I would argue that most people that still use it are probably. But yeah, middle class in New York would still maybe make a lot of money because it's a very expensive place to live. But you get the idea I'm trying to paint. I'm trying to paint the picture like it still shows
Like
that these are not people that are upper class there. You know?
Yes, but in Germany as well, I would argue that the upper class are not using the public transport.
Yeah, but New York is a different thing because
like
here the middle
Yeah,
class.
but in New York, I would say, like, for example, you still see guys in finance to getting into, like, people that are doing well in finance to get into the metro.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's what you see here in Germany as well.
Yeah.
So maybe the point is that in New York, it works because of two reasons. Traffic deters you from just relying on your car because it's so populated. And two, the infrastructure actually exists.
But I feel like here it does exist also, at least in Indianapolis.
Does it get to the door? Because if you think about the way it is in Germany, you would still get something that drops you walking distance from your house, whether it's by then dropping from the U-Bahn to get on the bus and then you can walk home. Like, I think in the US there are situations where the nearest bus or train station is 1 hour away. So the infrastructure doesn't really exist to support that. What else do I like about the... I think I also like a little bit how... I think, at least for Germany, I think politics in the world is very divisive. There's so much division. There's so much foolishness going around. And until recently, I thought that people's political view, I think the majority of Germans are still very reasonable in respecting political views. I might be wrong, but I think it's changing a little bit as well with the rise of some parties. But I think largely people respect that that's your political view. But not just political now as well, religious views. There's this respect for, okay, that's you. I don't need to force one perspective or the other. And there's also a balance in understanding that the country is for everyone, in the sense that if I support one party over the other, when the election is over, there's still that focus on let's hold these people responsible altogether. I feel like the political system works a little bit better than at least Nigeria. It's not faultless, but that understanding. And I also feel like the electorate, so the people, are well informed to an extent. At least quite a lot of people are well informed to an extent on what to expect from their government. Which is something that I really appreciate about this place.
That's true. I feel like in Nigeria, it's mostly people judging you for your political. I mean, I think I've caught myself also doing that. To be honest, I feel like, yeah, it's quite attached to how you see someone, their political beliefs, and maybe it's not ideal, but yeah. So one thing for me that I miss in Germany, not the West now, it's the girls. 100%.
Let's go.
Like, I absolutely miss that. And I just feel like the acceptable standard of how a girl can be, it's not even spoken. It's really unspoken, right? But when you go around, you just see how people are. most girls are in shape, at least. It's not even the attractiveness, but a lot of ladies, at least in Germany, are also quite pretty, right? Like, but they put in the work. And I would argue it's most places in Europe. So if we are talking about like the West, right? So it's
Yeah,
like,
if you look at the Nordic countries as well.
exactly.
I'm not sure about the UK, but like Europe, continental Europe, yeah.
Yeah. So
To an extent. The Eastern European.
Bro, they know what they have to do to, sort of make themselves appealing to a man. And I appreciate that. That's what I concluded at the end of the day. Like, it's just the societal standard that has been set, that you just can't be fat. Unlike in the US. I told you this experience before with the lady, right? She was shaming me. I know my age. I know most people my age, how they look. And I think for my age group, I'm decent, because I put in the work to look the way that I look, right? I hit the gym, I put in the work. Now she was thick, not fat, right? Then she was trying to shame me for being too, I don't even know what the word now. Is it too in shape, or what would I even be that? Because I'm not having a daddy bod because of my age. And I'm like, is that a compliment or a diss? Like, you shouldn't even talk about. If I was to talk about, oh, you having thick legs or whatever, then I'm probably misogynist, right? So like, I do appreciate that at least a lot of women put in the work, and I think it's directly correlated to what people find like as the acceptable standard of society. It's like, if you're a fat girl in Germany, you are in for it, because your competitions are looking fit. The fitness culture is there. People go to the gym, you ride the bike, you run, you do all sort of sports.
People are quite active.
That's
true. Yeah, the biking around, I think that also makes a difference, right? Like that adds to it. I agree with you, but I think for me, because I haven't experienced the US, I haven't lived in the US. I think in Nigeria as well, even though people are not necessarily as fit, like on a more general level, like the fitness culture is growing, as I heard, but I think we still don't have the exceptionally fat people as the majority of the population. So that's still positive.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not like going to say that I can't relate to that properly.
Now comparing it to Nigeria, right? It's also the fact that I appreciate European girls, at least German girls, because I have had a few relationships there and it all didn't work out. But these are not relationships that I'm looking back at and I'm feeling like, man, she like fucking bitch or something like that. I never had one single successful relationship with a Nigerian lady. And I look back, I feel like, damn, I got played.
I've spoken to a few people as well. And I think this might be controversial because I haven't experienced all Nigerian girls. And this is not statistically proven. It's just personal experiences of people that we've collected as well. When you were in Nigeria, you thought the idea of being in a relationship and loving someone and being loved is you doing stuff. Right? You just doing stuff and doing stuff and doing stuff. And the person you're doing it for can decide to be appreciative or not, can decide to reciprocate or not. This is something that they just don't
value as such.
Yeah, and you just feel like you're in a relationship and you are the one putting in the work. They might spend time with you. They might basically move in with you, maybe, but they will fight you on the little things. You don't feel loved. Let me put it directly.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe the experience in Germany is, even as you said, they didn't work out in that sense. So maybe they're not. It's not like it's the final level of an ideal relationship, but one thing at least changed, that you felt like you were loved back.
100%.
That you now have a woman that is actually looking at you and loving you. Now this is you not being the one giving all the time, but you are receiving love, like someone that
just does stuff for you, not monetary now or anything, but they just, this I'm doing for you, my man, and you get so little of that in Nigeria. I hope I have explained this the way you thought about it as well. Is
100%. And now that you said that, I feel like it then puts it in a clearer perspective, right? I think now you said it's probably our experiences, right? But I'll argue that it's more than that. That's how I would put it. I wouldn't say it's fact, right? But now this is the point. I didn't feel that love from the people that I dated back in Nigeria. And it makes you a certain type of man. So now you get into this new environment, the West, for example, then you are the same you, things that were never appreciated. Then you do that to your new girl and she's feeling like, oh, wow, awesome guy. So that might be the picture of Nigerian guys being spoken well about when it comes to being outside of Nigeria, or at least in the West.
Hey, I'll give an example. Let me give an example. I remember one of my ex-girlfriends talking to me, and out of everything, she just said something like, "What have you ever done for me?" And in my head, I'm thinking, what? And then, what have you ever done for me? Maybe you bought me something there, maybe you bought me something there, but so what? Those kind of things should not be coming from a partner.
Yeah.
Like, and you're with someone in the West, and they 100% appreciate that you even bought a train ticket to visit them.
Yeah. And they are
or they
showering
appreciate
you
that
gifts.
you paid. Exactly,
Nigerian
that you
girls
paid.
don't do that, man.
Yeah, the appreciation of something as little as you went out and you saw that, you went out and you just thought in your head that, we need to eat something, so you bought shawarma on the street. It cost you maybe €9, but you brought it home and you get thank you for this for the next 4 days.
Yeah.
That they thought about and just think, it's such a busy guy, there's so much happening in his life.
Yeah.
But he was coming home and he just thought, buy this girl shawarma because we need to eat something. Yeah. And I've heard stories of the girl demanding shawarma. This is a Nigerian girl demanding for my boyfriend shawarma. And the guy goes to get the shawarma. They drove down together. I think the guy was then on a call and then gave out the money and be like, please quickly get it. Let me finish this call. And this girl goes, nope, if you're not going down to get it for me, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I've experienced something like my ex telling me at a point that, I didn't ask you for these things. Like, why should I be grateful for them?
Exactly. And it could just be a case of we chose wrongly. And maybe there are Nigerian girls that are different. However, the stories are quite similar with some of the other people that we talk to. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, definitely every girl is not the same, right?
But I still exactly. I still love the Nigerian queens. Really, from our side, this is not the generalization of they're all rotten or whatever. No. We think you guys are amazing people. We love how you cook, and this might sound misogynistic, but we love how you cook. We love how fun is it to engage you. Exactly. Your girl, sometimes they will cook for you and take care of you as well. They engage you. It's easy to have conversations that are funny as well. How you dress up and look gorgeous out there and all. It's just that as we have things to improve on as men, I think women as well.
Why are you being political on me right now, man?
Should I tell you why? Yeah. I want them. I think it's the case of, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I also know that we have had conversations that you have also put up Nigerian girls so well. And if we don't put it on here, that they know that this is not a case of black men
hate full circle communication. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So that they know that this is not the case of black men hate black women.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just, we are saying our experiences, but we're also not saying everyone is crazy and stupid or something.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it is so easy to get original quality stuff in Germany. I'll give an example. And the relationship between how expensive things are and the quality at least to not when we're talking about now outrageous prices, but in the beginning, right? If the curve is like this between so the price and quality, right? It really goes like this in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Before it goes like this. If price is on the y-axis,
Yeah.
quality is on the x-axis.
Yeah.
It's like at first, the more you pay, the more quality you get, and then maybe at some point the line gets a little bit steeper, such that you are paying more for just a little bit more quality. So it goes like
okay,
this,
I get
and
what
then
you're saying.
starts going like this. But the thing is that it's so easy to get quality stuff in Germany. If I need a wristwatch, I know that if you go into a store and you buy, if they tell you that's 50 euros, this is 100, that's 500, and that's 2,000, you don't need a fact checker. You don't need, there's just not so many counterfeit products out there that you have to worry too much, right? You want to get a nice shirt, you go into a store, even if it's going into a store like Zara, H&M or Bershka or something. So I'm not even talking high-end now. If you pick the 20 euro product and then you pick the one that is 50 euros or the one that is 100, immediately you just see that if I pick that one, I'm definitely going to get the value for that money that I've paid. And you don't have to fact check it too much. That is something that I really appreciate about here. Because what has happened to me in Nigeria is that I just couldn't buy anything in Nigeria. I told you, right? Growing up, all my stuff, all my clothes, shoes and stuff, majority, almost like 95, 98% of the time was always from Europe. And when I started buying things by myself as well, it just meant that I had to wait until I could get them from Europe. I just couldn't be comfortable to buy things in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm not sure. Even when you go to like fancy boutiques, they have mixed all their products together.
Bro,
And it's like,
you
you don't
now
even know if you're getting the original one or not.
exactly. Now I'm thinking about it. There was this perfume store in like kid you not, man. I think the Blue de Chanel that I got there was because I got actually the original one after that, and I realized that was actually fake. And this was supposed to be a reputable store. And yeah, you're 100% right. I feel like you don't really know what you're getting when it comes to Nigeria. You still have to kind of fact check things to know that, okay, I'm paying for the quality. And from my experience, I feel like the best way to actually get quality in Nigeria is not actually from a store or whatever. I think when it's mostly recommendation of these guys, I don't know how it is right now. Maybe they have Instagram pages now, but back then it used to be this Unilag guy that is really having probably friends in Europe or in the US, and he's just doing the side hustle. Like, bro, this my wristwatch, it's like 10, 11 years now. The only thing I've done to it is like change battery. And I was out last night and someone was still giving me compliment on like, oh, this is Festina. I'm like, this is quite old, you know. It's like, and I got it from this Unilag guy that was just doing a side also importing things himself. So you just need to verify these guys and you can then be sure. And that's insane to think about that.
It was the same for like footwear. Yeah, I'm telling you. This exact description, like, I remember that I at least got maybe one or two footwear from Nigeria, like without getting it in Europe. But this actually was through a guy that his sister was in Europe.
Yeah.
So they would create a catalog and we would pick and then we would wait for the shipment to arrive. So when I got into the bank and guys needed shoes, I called my guy again, like, bro, like, let me have that catalog. And then send it to everyone. Everyone picked. And then we got shoes that we felt like was quality. The alternative that I then had to this was to actually get things made bespoke. I had some sandals made bespoke. I had some shoes made bespoke. All my suits were made bespoke. Even I had some white shirts and stuff made bespoke in Nigeria because you just couldn't trust what you were getting unless you get someone to get the quality material. You take it down to the designer and the tailor and they get it done for you. But here it's just so easy. Like, it's so easy, and the relationship between the price and stuff is quite reasonable as well until you start getting into ostentatious bit, and then the increase in quality does not reflect on the increase in price.
Yeah, when it comes to what I like, the excellent transportation system living in Germany, Germans will be like, oh, DB, Deutsche Bank, this. I think they are just false people, man. I swear to God. Because when you put it on a global scale,
Oh my goodness.
maybe a few countries that would beat Germany would probably be like Japan, maybe China, I'm not sure, but I know definitely Japan. But there are not a lot of countries
China probably.
that would, beat Germany.
China probably.
China will probably too, right?
China.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Singapore as well or something.
Yeah. But Germans will complain a lot about it. But I'm like thinking back in Nigeria, things are getting better also when it comes to transportation, especially in Lagos, because I know it used to be terrible. And yeah, it's on a different level. I feel like I did appreciate that in Germany, because it helps with being punctual. When you then say you would be somewhere, you can then be there, because most times the trains would get, especially the local ones, right? Not like the intercity ones. They will usually get there at the time they say they will, so you can rely on them for the most part. And yeah, that's something I do appreciate.
That's definitely a big deal, yeah. And I have something in connection to that in, at least in Europe, I don't know if it's the same in the US, it's so much easier to travel the world. So for me, it's not even a question of the price itself, because I think when I travel within Europe as well, I tend to spend quite a lot. But it's just, maybe it's the fact that there's a summer that you don't want to miss out on, and you just need to do something, that there's this difference in how active you feel when it comes to traveling. And I say this because I remember one time, my oldest brother, he was in uni at the time, and he was supposed to travel to London with my mom, and he was rejecting it. Like, Nigeria was too sweet for him, that by the time he came back home from uni, it was just like, why did you book my ticket? Why? And it's like you can't really feel. But in Europe, because maybe we have all this summer, winter thing, you want to make use of those moments that traveling becomes a necessary part of your existence, yeah?
Yeah.
As opposed to, well, you do it just for fun, or you do it just for, if you feel like it almost becomes a necessary part of your existence. And now, even if you're smarter about it than I am, at least, it's cheaper.
Yeah. Traveling can really be cheap in Europe.
Go with train. Yeah, exactly.
Flixbus will take you, as long as you are not in a hurry, it take you most places in Europe, bro. Like for like $30, you are going to France. Yeah, going to from Germany. You can go to Denmark. Anyway, like it's insane. But you are not bothered about the time you get there, or you just cruise like 2 days and yeah, they have like 20, 30 stops, and you don't mind, yeah. And if you book the exclusive ones, they are still quite comfortable, because I used Flixbus a lot, especially when it comes to entire part of Germany, from like Stuttgart to Cologne, Stuttgart to Munich and stuff. Yeah, they are quite comfortable. At night, they are usually stress-free. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something, at least, that I look at it and I'm like, wow, like I really enjoy that. There's one other thing that I actually remembered before now. You know how in Nigeria, if you go out to eat, I think this is what also makes the price between Nok by Alara and somewhere else a little bit high, because Nok by Alara will brand themselves, also then saying, I promise that we have a very clean and nice kitchen. I think it's quite easy to get food poisoning if you just eat from anywhere in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But in Germany, the standards are so high and well monitored that the cases are much less.
That's true.
That you can be sure that if you go in somewhere to eat, you can be sure that they have been forced to make their kitchen clean enough.
Yeah.
And that gives you a little bit of confidence as well where you eat, because it's like you don't have to worry about that too much. Some of the places that you see with food in Nigeria, those people should not even be selling fried shit.
That's especially with the street food. That would be the problem with the street food. Yeah.
The fact that when you drive as well, the driving rules are quite strict, and the infrastructure supports the speed limits
there are cameras that capture that this a little bit of risk-free life, that if you walk around the city, there's clear walk paths, so you can actually take walks in the city centers. There's like bicycling lanes separated, and you even have something in Germany they call Fußgänger zone, so walk zones where cars are just not allowed, and you can really tour around cities and stuff. Bro, you go to some markets in Nigeria, the road is just tiny, everyone is walking back and forth. You would think in your head that there should never be a car here. Do you know what I mean? You would think in your head that there's absolutely no way that a car should be going through here. Then you still hear blah, blah. I'm like, huh? Like this is in the middle of the market.
Yeah, in front of the car.
It's just all that organizational bit that makes life a little bit less risky. I really enjoy it here. And I know that we don't realize that we have gotten used to that, not worrying about that, until you go to Nigeria and you recognize that, where am I supposed to walk on this road now? That's when it's like, oh, because some roads have it on the island and mainland, but not all roads.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I'm actually walking on the road.
Yeah, that's true. You almost forget that everyone just and vibe it, man. Like, bike, car, trailer, truck,
just going
same road.
This exactly. This whole infrastructure issue, it baffles me, and I really enjoy that here it's also controlled by the government. You know how in Nigeria people would invest in estates, and this is what they call the estate that I live in. We moved into our house in like 2000, something like this, which means it's like it's an old estate. It's very old. Yeah. But what that means is that the people that develop the estate, they develop drainage only to a certain point. And now we are at the mercy of the other 10 landlords to have drainages in front of their place. Yeah, and then the road just keeps getting destroyed over and over again once there's heavy rainfall. And there's no one to enforce this drainage thing to say, Madam, we're going to bust your house open if you don't do your drainage. No one is enforcing this. And there was just nothing we could do about that. Now you can ask the question, who should be responsible for that? To protect the land of the nation. Maybe it's the government, maybe it's not, but really something should be there to enforce that. And you have all this wishy-washy behavior everywhere you look. You know, it could be on waste management, it could be that I don't like. It's how if you look right behind Banana Island, it's a fucking slum or something. It's like something should be managing all these bits. And I understand that people need to, but it's like the way President Tinubu said, let the poor breathe. Being poor does not mean that they have to live in places that are dirty. The fact that our government is comfortable, the country looking at our citizen living in certain situations and thinking it's the responsibility of the citizen to take care of that, given all the situation, given the earning power and all that stuff. The government should take on some of those responsibilities to say, it's our responsibility to keep your places of abode clean, like your surroundings now, not your home. And what the government do, like in some places, is they really have this thing that we call Y, right? We have this cleaning Saturday thing where you're not allowed to go out. So the government is saying, if we force you to environmental sanitation, they call it Y, right? I think in Ibadan, maybe I don't know why we call it with that. But it's like, they're saying, if we force you to stay at home on a Saturday, you will clean your place. Yeah. But I don't know if they actually invest a lot in checking that places are cleaned up properly.
Well, at least
and who's then responsible for the general space? So, but that's you cleaning your house. But then who is responsible for the social spaces? Bro, when we go party in Stuttgart or any city, by 3 a.m., they are washing the floors,
cleaning up. They are already washing, cleaning,
by 4 a.m., trucks are already moving. It's looking like a city that nothing ever happened.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Like they are washing the stations, like water spilling everywhere, cleaning, washing the floors, man.
Bro, you know I separate my trash now. I just find it quite effective now because I feel like if I'm putting the bottles with like this other one, it just messes things up. So I just have this Now I was thinking about it 2 days ago, like wow, like this is like a German thing, you know. I wouldn't
Change your behavior that created in you, right?
Yeah.
Because now you have one trash. Well, but it makes sense because it ensures that you have maybe only one trash bag that is truly dirt trash that could maybe
Exactly.
rotten, but every other one is like clean enough to organize and
Recycle the
put so that it's
plastic.
easier. Exactly, it's also easier for the people that actually do the job of trash management or waste management. Sorry, I said trash. Trash coin was in my head, and I
Yeah,
said
I
trash
know,
management.
but it's still trash, right?
Oh,
But
waste
it's-
management.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trash. Guys, if you don't know what Trashcoin is, you should check out the website. Trashcoin is, maybe Ibrahim is actually better to say what Trashcoin is. We're giving
Yeah,
Trashcoin like free publicity,
Yeah,
but we need it
it's a
for.
waste management, specifically bottle recycling company by our dear friend Elliot. So the website is trashcoin.eu. So yeah, they sort of like collect waste and incentivize it by paying you for every waste that you pick, plastic waste that you pick in Nigeria. Then yeah, they sort of process the plastic and sell the plastic. Yeah, so you should check them
Exactly. They process the plastic, they sell the plastic, but when you take the plastic to them as well, you actually get compensated with money, real money that you can use to do stuff. And it's in Nigeria. You download the app, it helps as well. We would be able to get recycled. Elliot told me that it was surprising that there's already a bit of change of behavior in the market in Port Harcourt, that plastic is now scarce.
Yeah, I think a few startups
Because
also
everyone
started
is
that
taking it
trash
together.
Yeah.
Which is good for the market.
Which is good. Yeah.
And you can make money. But that's cool.
So what I also really appreciate in the West, surprisingly also in US, Germany, and is the relationship or the experience I've had with the cops. I feel like I felt safer with the police in the West than I have felt in Nigeria. I feel like that is something in Germany. If I see like 20 cops or cop cars like around me, I'm not in panic mode. In Nigeria, I'm starting to run because I feel like probably did you see this video? I'm not sure if I shared with you. There was this like guy that was like running on a bike. I think he was using the wrong is it like the wrong car or the wrong sort of moving equipment, if I may, in the wrong part. Like probably using like a scooter on the main road or like a vehicle, yeah. So like the cops were chasing him and they sort of blocked the whole neighborhood. Before you know it, it was like 20, I saw it on 28 not actually, like 20, 30 cop cars just for this guy. And one interesting thing happened. There were now other people going on with their lives and no one touched them. And I saw a comment by a Nigerian in the section that said, you see all these people walking around there. If police was looking for someone and you walked, you are gone. They'll pack you.
Yeah.
And I've never had to experience that in Germany. I've seen situations where, they know who they are looking for. They go for who they are looking for and you just go by. They also try to not make sure everyone is worried or panicking. They are probably
it's crazy in Germany. Yeah. The formations, the way they don't, you don't hear any noise.
Yeah.
They're chasing someone, but you don't hear noise. You don't even see a car chase. It's just like they're all just connected, like their formation. You see them stand in a particular format, sometimes all back to back, someone in the middle looking at something, and then boom, they move again.
You also you almost have to connect.
If you walk around the city enough, exactly, you might now see that, they all captured one person, but they were not chasing, they were not. It's interesting to see, but I know you think that I might disagree. I don't. I think for the share, I don't have to personalize my experience here, but for the share like generalization of policing relationship, I think the police in Germany, at least, they have similar mandates to the police in Nigeria, but the relationship with the people is not the same. I've had good experiences with police in both countries, and I think police is our friend in every country. I'm open to that thought, But I think it's not sufficient for me to personalize that. I'm not blind to see that in Nigeria, it's a very different story. We literally have protests against the police. And in the US as well, I would say they have protests as well, talking about whether they want to defund the police as well. In Germany, it's a different story. I think there's a united front on support for their police force, at least in Germany. And I'm not blind to see that. Bro, I was going to make an example that, you know how in Nigeria, if you're in university and there's a famous person that could make your life difficult, like maybe an Egma Adubo or a cultist, someone that could, like a cult group member or a gang member that is famous, and you know that he lives in a particular hostel. When you walk past that hostel, or like you're in secondary school back then and there's a very difficult senior that is very harsh, when you walk by wherever this person might be, there's this feeling in your mind. And I think this is what people feel as well when they walk by police stations or when there's this fear of, what if this person notices me? And it's like walking past your bully. Yeah? And I don't think people feel that way, at least in Germany and in Nigeria. I think a lot of people feel that way. So it's definitely, I agree with you on this one, even though my personal experience is different. But yeah, do you have more? Because for me, I think we've talked about quite a lot. And bro, I love this episode because there's so much in it.
Yeah,
and I'm very happy with it, to be honest. I'm very, very happy with it. That's almost 2 hours of beautiful, beautiful stuff. So yeah, without further ado, then I'm about to shut this down.
All right, man. Yeah. So see you guys next time. And
next time, and enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share if you like any of the things we're talking about, and also comment your own opinion and thoughts about the things that we've talked about. Cheers. Bye-bye.